You ever wondered what it'd be like if cartoon characters actually existed?
Kind of. I mean, like, if I pose the question of, like, if any cartoon character could be, like, your best friend, who would you pick? But I never really thought about what it'd be like if they were all real.
Well, you decide who do you want as your friend?
Oh, that's easy. Sora from Kingdom Hearts, like, hands down. It's my favorite video game.
I probably would have to pick Roger Rabbit. We are talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And I'm Alex G8462.
And I'm TheRealSammich.
And, yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my favorite movies of all time. But first, before we go into that, what is it about, if you haven't seen it? Alright, so the movie takes place in Los Angeles in the 1940s. In this world, as we discussed about earlier, cartoon characters actually exist, and they're called toons, and cartoons are actually made like regular films. Roger Rabbit is a big star at the time, like Mickey. He gets framed for the murder of Marvin Acme after a scandal with his wife, Jessica. Now, Detective Eddie Valiant has to clear his name, but as he does it, a bigger plot emerges that involves the fate of Toontown, home of Roger and all the other cartoons at the time. So we've both seen the movie here, and I guess the first thing to talk about is what we remembered when we first saw it.
Well, the one thing I remember the most about that movie, because it was such a long time ago, was Jessica Rabbit. And whenever anyone would ask her, like, oh, why are you dating, Roger Rabbit, she'd be like, he makes me laugh.
Yeah, there's also a scene where when we first get introduced to her, Betty Boop, or Eddie Valiant says, she's Roger's wife, and Betty Boop says, yeah, what a lucky girl. I would go to this camp with my friends that my old school would host, and every time we would go back home, every year they would play Who Framed Roger Rabbit over and over and over again.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That was, but every time I saw it, the only thing it was like I didn't know why certain things happened. I don't know why Roger Rabbit needed saving. All I cared about was the mix of animation and live action. That was it.
That is something that is really cool about that film. It's like the combination of the two, especially when he's like in Toontown or like Toon World and like he falls from the building. I mean, the difference between like cartoon and reality is just totally like blended together.
Exactly. Another thing that I absolutely remember was seeing Donald Duck and Daffy Duck in screen together, and then Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny together. And when I first saw it, this was running through my mind.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I was thinking Space Jam. Tell me you remember Space Jam.
Me too. That's another one I would get beat over the head with, but this is not Space Jam. This is Roger Rabbit.
This is Roger Rabbit.
So that's our experience seeing it for the first time and what we remember, but I guess I've seen it more recently than you have. And,
and more times, apparently.
Yes, I have, but getting it on, since I got it on DVD and at an older age, I've been watching it more, and I've actually paid attention to other stuff, like how detailed the animation is with the live action, how cartoon characters would pick up real objects and it would just move so seamlessly, like when the weasels hold a handgun. It looks so realistic, like as if they're actually there. And the same thing is said for when Eddie Valiant's holding his toon gun when he's in Toontown. One thing that always shocked me about the movie, even when I first saw it, maybe it shocked you too, is how much it's not a kid's movie.
No, that is not a kid's movie.
Yes, because we've got smoking, we've got swearing, we've got Jessica Rabbit's boobs, we got
Jessica
drinking.
Rabbit is seductive overall.
Yes.
Like, even the slit up the side of her dress and, like, the way she's, like, proportioned. I mean, sure, you could necessarily let your kid watch it because they're not going to understand, really, but it's still, like, inappropriate. It's your kid, don't let them watch that.
Right, and there's
and
also...
the guns.
Yes, and there's lines like, so tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Yes, there we go. And then there's that the one joke that always that stuck in my head when I first saw it was when the Weasels search Valiant and Jessica Rabbit, and Judge Doom, the villain, who's played by Christopher Lloyd, aka Doc Brown, tells the Weasels to frisk the woman. One of them says, "It would be my pleasure," so he rolls down his sleeves and digs between her chest, and then a bear trap is on his hand, and Valiant says, "Nice booby trap." That always, even back then, that always stuck with me as like, wah wah.
A lot of kids' movies do that though, non-kids movies / kids movies. They both play on like sexual puns, even though they know the kids won't understand it. It's kind of like they'll do it for a certain movie that they know parents will still go take their kids to watch because they want the adults to be entertained while the kids are entertained. So they'll like insert sexual puns in the kids' movies.
Exactly. I think Pixar may do that on occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really have to think about it.
Yeah, or just if you want the like most obvious movie that does it, just the Ice Age movies, because they go straight for it.
They do. I think although they're not very good in my opinion, but I think the most recent movie to like be really not for the most recent animated movie I know that's not really for kids was last year's Rango. I'm trying my best to think of what I actually did not like about the movie. I mean, you haven't seen it in a while, but when you saw it, was there anything you didn't like?
Not that I can recall. I mean, Roger Rabbit is such a good movie. There's really not much to not like about the movie.
Yeah, I guess the only problems I have is I wish there was a little more Baby Herman, because he just appears at the beginning of the movie and then disappears until the end. And there were a few points where the animation was like kind of off. Shut up, Alexander! Those are really just nitpicks, like really inexcusable ones at best. And yeah, we really both say if you haven't seen it, then go see it. I rarely give this rating, even though I just started reviewing stuff. But there are very few movies out there that go above the 5-star rating, and those are movies that I adore. This is one of them. Who Framed Roger Rabbit will get my highest rating, 6 stars. So I guess that's about it. And if you haven't seen Roger Rabbit, we both say go see it, and you should see it again.
I know. I probably should rewatch it and, be able to recollect everything from the movie, all its filmic elements, as well as the movie plot.
It is, because it is really it is a groundbreaking movie, and really one of those. It's like Star Wars when when you see it as a kid, you really don't care about anything except the visual stuff. This happened to me when I saw Star Wars for the first time. I didn't know why they had to go to certain places. I don't know why things happen. All I cared about was seeing like the special effects, and
I knew what was going on, and I liked it.
When did you first see it?
When I was a kid. I was a fucking smart kid. Like, I started watching horror movies when I was 4 years old. I understood what was going on in Star Wars.
Okay, there you go, because you started watching horror movies at 4 years old. Yeah. My first horror movie was Jaws, and that was when I was probably 8.
But yes, I should definitely rewatch Roger Rabbit.
Yes, you should.
Go see it. It's a good movie. Rewatch it. Catch up on our childhood. Come on. 90s. Or was it mid-90s?
It was
90s, right?
88. But close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
That's part of the 90s. All the kids in the 90s watched it.
Yeah. So, anyway, with that said, I'm Alex G8462.
And I'm TheRealSammich.
And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. If cartoon characters were real, do you think it was ever wrong for there to be human-toon relationships?
Human-toon relationships? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Some weird thoughts to think about. It's like that episode of Futurama where they're worried about robots intermingling with people. I mean, come on. Can you imagine what a cartoon human baby would look like? It'd be defective.
I think it's something we'll let your nightmares handle.
I'm gonna say no for now. If that ever does happen, then we'll talk about it more then. But until then, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, probably when hell freezes over. I probably would have to pick Roger Rabbit.
Oh, you're recording, aren't you?
I told you I was recording.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought we were like literally having a conversation about the cartoons.
Okay.
No, it's cool. Like,
actually, I'm gonna keep that in. I'm gonna keep that as an outtake.
Hold on.
And further outtakes. So I guess the first thing for us to talk about is what we've both seen the movie. So I guess the first thing to talk about is what we thought of it when we first saw it. Because do you remember anything?
Oh my goodness. First time I ever saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I remember Scarlet more than anything.
Scarlet?
That's her name, right?
Jessica.
Jessica? Oh
Jessica
shit, I thought her
Rabbit?
name was Scarlet. I must be thinking of that game. I can't remember the name of the game either. But yeah.
Let's try that again.
That's how long ago that I haven't seen it, is when I can't remember. The only character I do remember is actual name. Like, that's a problem. I also remember the baby with the cigar.
Oh, did we also forget to mention Jessica Rabbit as part of the Not for Kids?